It's definitely Friday, even though we're filming this on Thursday, so I'm lying to you. Hi everybody! Welcome to WHYsoQUEERIOUS. The reason why we look like we're in a hotel room is because we're actually in a hotel room.
Hey, imagine that.
Imagine that. Me and my friend Clinton here are actually at a diversity conference that we are going to for our school. St. Paul College! Woohoo! This is my friend Clinton. Today we are going to be talking about the LGBTQ community and addiction and recovery. Clinton, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. This poor sap met me about 2.5 years ago. Lucky him. I am a 37-year-old gay male. Been in the recovery community now for about 2.5 years. I am an addict. Met my drug of choice, methamphetamines, about 10 years ago, or actually 12.5 years ago now. Lived here in the Twin Cities for a while, met my boyfriend about 12.5 years ago, and spent about 10 years in addiction. It was a very dark time in my life. Spent a lot of time homeless, and spent a lot of time chasing couches and living in shelters, and spent a lot of time sleeping under bridges. You know, it was a time in my life that I learned a lot, and I don't really regret. In terms of where I'm at now, it's led me to where I'm at now. I've come to peace with that time in my life. August 3rd, 2013, my ex-boyfriend attempted to kill me, and that started my new life, and that's where I became clean. August 3rd, 2013 is when Clinton was born. I always went by Clint prior to that, and I have lived the life as Clinton ever since. I've come a very long way in 2.5 years, and I'm very happy for that. And this guy has seen a lot of it, and I'm glad that he's been there for it. He's been a very good friend to me, and I'm very happy to be here to talk about this topic with him.
Aw, gay punch. Aw, stop! Man!
Anyway.
You made this a whole nother level of sentimental. Wasn't ready for that, Clinton. Okay, but, yeah, alright, so, you talked about, like, there being sort of you going through recovery and things like that. So with your experience, is there a large population of people that are in the LGBTQ community that are also in recovery?
It's definitely a significant part. It's just scary and unbelievable to me that we are almost twice as likely as our straight counterparts to become addicted.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
It's crazy, and we are less likely to succeed in recovery. The statistics for recovery in general are about 1 in 10. For every person that goes through recovery, they have a 1 in 10 chance of succeeding.
And what is that with our?
With the LGBT community, it's about 1 in 15.
Wow.
I was not a success story on my first try. I had to go back out and, as we say it, do more research. And so I relapsed and I went back out. And the second time worked for me. The second time, but between the 2 times of recovery, I am the only person who's still clean. So out of the about 40 people altogether that I saw, it's more than that, probably about 60 that I saw go through recovery with me in the 2 treatment settings that I went through, I'm the only one. Scary to think.
Yeah,
however,
it's definitely.
I am that one. And I'm so happy for it, and grateful, and pleased that I'm here to talk about it with you. While it may seem negative, it's also an enriching part of the community. We bring a special twist, so to speak.
Certain perspectives.
You know, and we have an opportunity to educate the recovery community about things and show them, you know, just like we do in the regular community, but show people in the recovery community, breaking the stereotypes, so to speak. You know, and showing that we are just the same as everybody else. We can go through addiction, we can fight it, we can win.
Why do you think it is that there is so much of a connection and so much of a population in the LGBTQ community of those in recovery.
The fact of the matter is, our primary gathering points in a lot of communities, and the Twin Cities is no exception to this rule, are bars.
Yep. And I can attest. Yes, they definitely are. You see a lot of alcoholism
absolutely
come out of that sort of atmosphere, being that it is one of our original and now primal sort of interaction points and places of hangout.
It's a place we could be safe.
Exactly.
And it
back in the day and even now in some communities. Yeah.
And then, the other part of it, research has shown, but it was also in my personal experience, was the sexual desire.
Yeah.
Our community was so driven around sex for a very long time. We've come a very long way again with regards to that. But there's still the sexual drive.
Yeah. And the whole aspect of like party and play and those more intense hardcore narcotic drugs and things like that. Those are definitely very active in the sexual community, especially for those people. Like, sometimes people feel that sex is something in itself to be shamed. For a long time, people of the LGBTQ community were very shamed for sex, and in any way it was something you didn't do, and so that having those drugs helped that feeling and helped that sort of shame.
In my personal experience, it was the sex drive that kept me with my boyfriend, that kept me interested in methamphetamines. I didn't have the typical reaction. Methamphetamine actually calmed me down, which was bizarre. Don't get me wrong, after 2 or 3 days of being up, I was like,
hey, did you see the weather today?
What's that? But it's a drug that a lot of our, especially gay male community, are involved with, and it really hurts me to see, because I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And when I hear of friends that are using it, when I hear of it being used so much in our community, it just kills me, because I know I've been there.
Yeah.
The sexual drive and the gathering point and everything, I think, to summarize everything, is a lot of the reason that the LGBT community has such a strong presence in the recovery community. Is we were shunned and shamed and made to feel so bad for so long, especially growing up. We had to find something to fill that void. And for a lot of us, that was turning to drugs and alcohol and turning into it in excess.
Which is a shame. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something that is just, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear that people have to go through that and have to be pushed to that sort of thing. What is the most important thing that you want people to know in general about people who identify as LGBTQ who are going through recovery?
We do recover. We fight it daily, but we do recover. And I guess that's a big message I want people to know through this video, through anything I talk about when it comes to addiction. We do recover, we move on. Are we still an addict? Yes, but that doesn't have to define us.
So, are there any resources that you would definitely recommend for someone who is part of the LGBTQ community and also in recovery or going through addiction or things like that?
National-wise, the only thing that I really found per se as a great website is called glbtinrecovery.com. They have links to a lot of local treatment centers in local areas.
Okay.
It's not exhaustive by any means. I'm sure there are a lot of other places. There are 800 numbers for almost every single state that are for not GLBT specific, but for recovery in general.
Yeah, which is helpful.
And you can call those numbers, and a lot of times the majority of them have information for GLBT friendly or GLBT specific programs. Anytime you're calling for help, just ask for GLBT specific and friendly. It's my biggest advice. It was how I got hooked up with the programs I did. If you're in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area or want to come to Minnesota, we're nicknamed the land of 10,000 treatment centers besides 10,000
Fun
beds.
fact, because I didn't even know that.
So yeah, in the Minneapolis and St. Paul area, there are actually 2 GLBT specific treatment centers, which is awesome. The Twin Cities area is actually the only place in the nation that has 2 specific GLBT centers.
Wow.
One is called Pride Institute and the other is called Latitudes.
I have witnessed a lot of Clinton's process, especially in the later accounts of it. And I remember very recently, it was actually a few days ago, Clinton showed me a picture of 3 years ago. And that picture reminded me so much of when he walked through the door into our school group, Prism. And it was my first interaction that I ever had with Clinton. And you had this sort of nervous tendency about you. You weren't shy, but you also weren't sure of how to present yourself and things like that. But I remember you told me after that meeting you were very happy that I had brought things out of you and had allowed you to feel comfortable in the space, which is like, I was so honored and so happy that you confided that with me, because that just made me feel so happy that I was able to provide that for you. But when you showed me that picture, it just made me realize how much progress I have seen you make. I've also seen you in very rough times, and I've been there for you in very rough times, and I am so honored to have been able to have done that for you. He is a testament to the whole thing that people do recover, because Clinton is in charge of a students in recovery group at our school. He's very active in the community, and he's also very open about his experience. I am so proud of you, Clinton.
Thank you, Mitch.
Hug. Cry. I did it! Thank you so much, Clinton. Thank you so much for coming and talking about this topic. It's a really important topic that I think people should know about. This is a thing that happens, and it is. And I'm very happy that we got to talk about it today. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that if you liked this video, if you like Clinton, if you like what he had to say, click the like button. There-ish.
Somewhere.
If you have a story to share about your own recovery process, or if you just have some words to say to Clinton for his support, for encouragement, or just to like say you have a great beard, comment down below. Or if you want to compliment me, that'd be great too. Do not forget to subscribe if you want to see new videos from WHYsoQUEERIOUS every Friday. I will see you guys next week, and I love you. Yeah, it worked.